to music in the making.
That's illegal.
I want to be with you everywhere. A Halloween party. Oh, that's fun. Let's talk about work.
That's not what I said.
Well, and I like Stanridge, so it's like I kind of.
Oh, you guys are friends?
Yeah,
You
I
guys
talked
are
to
buddies?
him. Yeah, we talked
to him last week.
a whole 5 minutes at Midwest last year. We are 3 high school and junior high music teachers from West Central Illinois.
And someone had to go to the bathroom during intermission and missed it. And that someone is me.
Yeah! Each week we will talk about our experiences in the classroom, community, and personal lives too. Please welcome your hosts, Lisa Hallen.
We say move all this stuff down there, and then it gets moved, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why have we moved that from there to there to there? Stop recording.
Art Martinez. Happy Friday if it's not a Friday, or Saturday or Sunday, or if you're Lisa, it's a week later. And Kevin Ferry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
During class.
Talking.
That's pretty funny.
I get my bloopers out before we start recording.
Get them all out.
Yeah.
See, the funny thing is he thinks that he's going to get out before, but really, we're already live.
We're already live.
Welcome back, everyone, to the episode of Music in the Making. We are live at IMEC 2024. Woo! It's amazing that, like, and I said this to a few people already, it's amazing that, like, our school year starts in August, and then, like, it ends in May, but, like, IMEC is always, like, that one reminder that a whole calendar year has gone by already, and it's just, like, this is the one time of year where all the directors from the entire state come together, and we see people we normally see, or we can sort of see regularly, people we don't see ever. You know, you see some of our students perform in these top ensembles. It's just such a really, really cool experience. It's so funny. I was walking over here, and I heard a kid, "Hey, I'm third horn. It doesn't matter. I'm still made All-State." And it's like, that is a fact. You're still better than a lot of other horn players at auditions.
Do we really need more horns?
Ask Lisa.
I mean, you could bump up the numbers in the international
Make him the 13th
federation.
Member of the 13th member of the Facebook horn group that you guys
You
have.
said 12 last night.
Yeah, well, 13 when you did.
There we are.
Slowly growing.
Way to go. Now he's eating pizza while
I
he's
didn't-
hosting a show.
I didn't get to eat because I was setting up a booth, but that's okay.
For a non-sponsor, by the
For
way.
a non-sponsor, maybe soon to be sponsored. Who knows? You just
All right, you
never
eat
know.
your food.
I know.
We are very, very happy to be joined. Today you've heard us talk about these guys a lot throughout our podcast. We have the Mercer County Music Department with us today. Crispin Fornoff, Rusty Ruggles, and Sam Whan. Guys, if you would, just tell us what you do at the big school of Mercer County.
You go first.
I guess I'm going first. So I'm Crispin. I most famously Mr. Hallen. I'm sure you've been called. I've been called that on this podcast. I'm sure many a
He's
time.
made it. He's made it.
I know. So, see, I'm the junior high band director for 7th and 8th grade, and then I also do K through 5 elementary general music at a place called New Boston.
This place
It's one place, New Boston.
Can you find that on the map?
It's kind of like Boston, except a lot smaller and newer.
How new is it?
I thought the new one was already in Boston.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Anyway, that's what I do.
I'm Rusty Ruggles. I'm the high school director at Mercer County. I also teach 6th grade, and I oversee Crispin Fornoff, which takes up a majority of my day.
Is that because you're taller than him?
How often have you stayed?
What not? You're right.
You teach band.
Oh, yeah, I teach band.
I see he's doing a really good job.
Yeah, he's doing great.
I'm Sam Whan. I am the 6 through 12 choir director at Mercer County. Previously, I was in Crispin's position for 2 years and then jumped ship over to here, so a little bit of everything, but happily in choir world now and working alongside with these fine gentlemen.
And we have 4 full-timers
Yeah, we
in
were
our
missing one here.
district, which we're lucky to have. In a district of our size, we have 4 full-time people.
That's fantastic. And Sam, you do something for the ILMEA as well, correct? You have an official capacity here?
Yeah, I'm the BCD rep for District 2, and then I also am a co-chairsperson for the elementary all-state choirs that are meeting. So this year we have a 4th and 5th grade choir and a 6th grade one.
You're a saint. Nobody's ever said that.
Ask me how many kids I volunteered to come down.
0.
So, yeah. Because I'm handling the rest of the states.
Who was I having that conversation? Was it with you last? I can't remember who I was having that conversation with last night about junior high all-state. No.
I can't believe that.
No, I'm not sending a kid to junior high all-state. I'm not going to do it.
And they're gonna spend the night?
Yeah, it's like their deal is
Narrowing
like
this, isn't it?
their concert would be like Saturday morning or something.
So
That's what I
they
understand.
have a general plan. I was talking with Rusty about this earlier. Like nothing is set in stone, obviously, because they have to plan everything. But they will be bringing junior high all-state in next year. We're thinking about moving all of the choirs, the younger ones, so like the littles that I have, up to the early morning, which means that they would come down Friday night, likely. And then junior high, middle of the day, and then keep the senior groups in the afternoon at their normal time slot, so you don't have to really move anything else other than that. But now they're also talking about potentially moving everything to the Civic Center too. Like the actual, like the ice. So it'll be an interesting take on.
Now the elementary, that's just choir, right?
Yes, just choir.
And junior high, they're talking about, I assume, band and choir,
Yep.
probably not orchestra.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
It might be order. Yeah, I will say this. Kevin is very opinionated about the subject, so he does not necessarily reflect everyone's opinion. But that's not to say I also see a lot of logistical problems with having like junior high. I mean, like for you junior high directors and people, you know like how junior high kids can be, and when you take them out of an environment that they've never been to, an environment that with a structure that they're not used to, like junior high thrives on routine. If you take their routine and say we're now doing somebody else's routine, all the questions come out, and you are their parent. So it's kind of like double-edged sword. Like it's a great experience, I'm sure, especially for those 8th graders, 7th graders who just knock it out of the park. But I mean, also realistically, personally, when I'm seeing these things pedagogically, I feel like the only students that are really gonna make some like this junior high thing if they start band in 4th or 5th grade. Like, unless you have some sort of like, I am super focusing on, or like they get lessons every day or something like that. I really don't see a kid within the 1 year experience making all-state.
Well, it's really going to depend on. It's going to depend on how often you get, classes.
Right.
If you
So,
meet every single day or not.
I'm curious if they're like, if they really want a 100-piece junior high band, or if they're going to be like, we're going to take the top 75 or 50, because at least that shrinks down the number. Is also the person who has to run them. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine being a director. It's one thing it's like one thing for you to be a teacher for a student, but like another student to be like listening to another teacher. There's a lot of other things. It's a good and bad.
The equity talk about that one is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Because the smaller the group, the smaller the representation. Is
Yeah.
it really all state at
Oh,
that
yeah.
point?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side of it is at the end of the day, this is a business.
Right.
Right? The less people that we take, the less money that IMEC actually makes off of it, and then what's the point of having an all-state choir or band or whatever it is anyway? So,
I mean, I can see them making instead of junior high, I can see them making like a junior varsity division, so it's 9 and 10, or like 8 and 9, and then the all-state, as we know it, is.
But they've
10 through
already
12,
opened it up to freshmen.
But right, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like I almost feel like if they were already thinking about the junior high thing, they might have wanted to. But again, this is all speculation. We don't know anything for sure. And these are obviously, and like we say every episode, these are our own opinions from our own experiences. We are not promoting any sort of thing against ILMEA. We're just saying that these are things coming down the line.
Kevin
So you haven't been sued.
my point was.
Also, we all go to Mercer County, so if you have any complaints, we all work there. And
I don't, logistically, I don't want to deal with one more thing here. That is I'm not saying the ILMEA shouldn't do it. I'm saying Mom with Roseville isn't doing it.
Yeah.
At least for choir. You guys can do it for band. We're not going to do it for choir. We don't need more. It just, I don't, yeah.
Would you consider that, Crispin?
There's some kids, I think they would enjoy it a lot. I would maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
No more than that.
I think the difficulty that a lot of the rural schools face is that, we're fortunate enough to have 4 full-time teachers, but we're also running every portion of our departments by ourselves. Like I'm the sole choir director for the entire district, and I overlook 8 performance groups every day. It's just difficult. The more things that we add, like, yes, it'd be an awesome experience for them, but also I have to consider, is this taking away from the other students' experience from what we have at home?
Yes.
And is it really worth it? Or do I just give them the music and say, hey, if you want to work on this, you have to do it by yourself?
We've got to get ready for the Prairie Lake Conference Choir Festival.
Sure.
That's a major conference.
I'm just saying, we've got stuff to do. We're busy.
Yeah, the Tiger's a banger there, Kevin.
I didn't think it. So I know a lot of us, we met up last night, and Rusty and I have had a few conversations, and there's just we'd like to get everybody hears what we do and how we do things, but I think it's very interesting to hear how other people do. I mentioned last week on the podcast that I love looking at what repertoire Sam does for organizational contests, because it's different. It's a different style of music than what I do. And Rusty, you and I talked last night, years ago. The Peoria General Star used to have a forum, and one of the topics on there was who has the best pep band in the area. And it got, everybody, Mercer County, well, at the time, Alito. And, you guys have a fantastic program, and we know that and recognize that and respect that. So,
I've done a lot, thank you.
Art's just deleting that.
At this point, Crispin said,
Rusty, you've been doing this for years. You're one of the best to do it, and you can be modest. You're one of the best to do it. I've heard your bands for years, even when back in the old Avon days when we're in that little bitty classroom trying to get you all to warm up, and kind of give us what's the emphasis of your program. Concert band versus marching band versus pep band versus organizational contest, solo and ensemble contest. I know that's a lot of stuff, but just what your little philosophy.
That's a lot of stuff. I want to have fun, number one, and if I'm not having fun, it's usually not fun. And so that's why we do a lot of pep band stuff. The kids, that's their favorite thing to do. Marching band is not my favorite thing to do, but they like going to football games. We don't compete, and so we don't do that. But we play different stuff every game, so they're always reading tunes. So in a year, a kid for me will probably read anywhere from 40 to 50 tunes, because we'll play all kinds of different pep band tunes too. So, to me, the pep band stuff is still reading music. And you have to read it on the fly. And some nights I'll call something out where a freshman or a sophomore has never seen that tune. And I've got an alumni there, and he's like, hey, we want to hear Vehicle. I'm like, oh boy, all right. So it's all about getting kids seen, too, and being a part of something. Because you guys all know you have all kinds of different students, in these small schools where you got the kids that are 3-sport athletes that are in your class. You have the kids that this is the only thing that they do. So you want to make them feel a part of something, and so then in the middle of all that fun, then you sprinkle in the contest stuff. It's like those chewable veggie things where you give the kids a little gummy bear and they don't know they're getting a serving of vegetables. That's what you want. And in that process, in their 4 years, I just want them to find one contest piece that they really like, whether it's Steve-O or a Sousa March or something like that. That's all I'm looking for. Just aesthetic experiences. By the time they get to me as a freshman, they should know how to read. Not now, but they should know how to read music, and now you're just trying to create the experience for them as they go through. And in doing that, it kind of creates a culture, and you just kind of move from there.
What I hear is an IMEC lecture from Rusty Ruggles about how pep band makes good program.
You know what? I know I make a lot of people mad in the area. Maybe I do. I don't know. Because I play every game. We just did our 12th game last night. And I will play. And my theory is on that is that if I have basketball kids in band, I will play your games. And because if they play for me, I'll play for them. And that's a little business transaction, I guess you could say.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you split your pep band into 2 groups?
I do. We're big enough to where there's a gold band and a blue band. One plays for girls, one plays for boys. They're responsible for their attendance, and if Crispin can't go to a game because he's got a hot date with Lisa, he will get a sub for tuba.
I wish.
She's always working.
Yeah. So each kid is responsible
Someone
for like
has to.
6 or 7 games, and they got to get subs and do all that stuff, and kind of teaches them to be responsible for their calendar.
Yeah.
So, and they get a grade for it, and it's fun. We've played the state tournament a couple times, 3 or 4 times, and the PR, I just tell people the PR on it is amazing because people see you all the time. And then when you're not there, like there's a game tonight and we're not playing, I always choose to not play for 1 game of each, girls and boys. And then people always complain that we're not there because I want them to know what it's like for us not to be there. Right? So,
A little reverse.
Yeah.
I like that.
yeah.
I like that. We play or we sing the national anthem at every game. That's one of the big things that we're known for is singing the anthem. But we haven't been able to do it because with all the weather stuff, our principal is saying no pep band, no mats, just the basketball team. We're not getting any more kids out than we have to. So
Dustin, I was shocked.
Yeah.
It's
so
happened
they're
twice. Because
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, we have games. The second day I was actually a little bit better than the first. And I called him and I'm like, look, I know what I think we should do, but I want to make sure that I want to hear from you. I want to hear you say, let's be there, and we will be there.
Right.
But I'm not gonna make that call because I also live in a different town, so I don't know what it's like out there. So, and he's like, let's not have them out there. It's not necessary. Just have the kids that we need to have there. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So we've hosted you guys in organizational contests several times. Do you still have a varsity band and a JV band, or however you
Yeah, we split it years ago. It used to be all together, and it was like when we went to Avon with TU, like it was too huge. It was too big. And we have JV bands, just freshman, sophomore, and junior, senior is varsity band. We don't have auditions for either band. It's just class, and we just roll with that.
Right.
Yeah.
What you get is what you get.
Yeah, and it's interesting. This year's got its challenges with COVID. The COVID bump is here, and so it's probably the least numbers I've had in a long time. But it's still okay. I mean, we're still all right. We're doing a lot better than what we thought we were going to. But still, I think everybody knows that your freshmen and sophomores still need help reading music because the freshman class has still started late or it didn't start at all.
Yeah.
And so they're a year or a year and a half behind.
And you do a jazz band as well, right?
Yeah, we rehearse in the mornings. Yep. Tuesday and Thursday morning.
Before school?
Yep. 7 o'clock. And it's a lot of fun. And we travel. That's a traveling group. We're going to Chicago this summer. And it's a lot of fun. I'd like to play out with that group more. But I think, and you guys know this too, I think in order to keep your numbers, you have to keep your calendars. You have to find that fine line of too much or not enough.
Right.
Because you don't want kids quitting because it's too much of a thing and I can't do this and this and this because I've got to be here.
Yeah, one thing I feel like when I started teaching, especially in Monmouth Roseville, was like how many jobs these kids got.
Yeah.
Like almost like I feel like a lot of the band kids, choir kids do, band choir kids have jobs, and I try to make it a teachable moment for them too, because it's like, look, I understand that might be really important, especially for your family, but understand that like you are a student also, like. Do you want to be working on the job forever? Probably not. So you got to make sure your grades are good. And that's not to say that, like band is the one thing that's going to hold them back. But it's a lesson of like, look, you have this commitment too. So if you're not keeping all your commitments, especially the ones that are like your job, because really your job is to be a student. This is a part-time thing, right? You just get to balance things out. And I try to be flexible. Like I understand that like, okay, something changed on my end. I'm not going to make you not go to work now. It's like, something happened on my end, then I understand. You have your commitment. Or some kids will be like, I can only go up until X amount of time. Is that okay? I understand. Just make sure that your boss knows, your family knows that like the commitment is supposed to be the entire time. But I understand things come up. You go do what you need to go do and go from there. So, but also just making sure that flexibility doesn't mean that that's every time. Because I start to see who asks every single time the same exact thing, the same exact way. And then that's when I'm like, okay, how about, why?
Yeah, I need to go to the bathroom, kid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to tell me on the day of the game you can't make it.
Right.
Yeah, we need. Sam and I usually go 2 weeks.
Yep.
And really, it's got to be for something good.
Oh, yeah.
Like when we hand the calendar out in the fall, and a kid comes to me and says, "Hey, on October 13th, I've got to show cattle in Denver. It's a big deal for us." I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
I support that, and I want them to do all those things. And
It's 2 weeks for me for everything.
Yeah.
My 6th graders all the way up through my 12th graders.
but at the same time, they're not going to get all the points.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that. When I don't get paid for half the time I'm not at work.
Yeah.
If I don't call in at all, and then you're going to pay me for half that? No, this is how it works.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I feel like that's what we've done the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So, Sam, you said something earlier. 8 performing ensembles?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? 8?
Between the 2 buildings.
So, tell us a little bit about the ensembles that you have, and I know you've had some huge growth since you've started at the high school for sure, and I know the junior high group you had last year was really good size. And then, if you would talk a little bit about the repertoire that you pick, and is it a generational gap that the style of music you pick is so different from mine, or is just this is what I like to do, and we all pick music that we like to do. So
I think that there's a little bit of both. So like my junior high literature is typically a little bit more traditional. Like I mean, if you're on JW Pepper and you're looking at the basic library and editor's choice, and then just subcategory it by whatever voicings and all you stuff. But a lot of the time I'll go through and I'll just, I'll pull out some of the standards that any group should be looking at. Like one of the ones that I love doing with my 6th grade group, I do Fireflies in the fall and The Moon in the spring, just because they have just a ton of really good musical moments in there that I can talk with diction, I can talk with phrasing and breath support and all that stuff. But I do that with my younger kids. As I'm moving forward, I'm looking at a lot of Vernon and Gilpin stuff, just to kind of grab on the attention of the kids for the junior high.
Gilpin writes some really good.
He really
junior
does.
high stuff.
Man, he
really
did
does.
Little Wheel of Turnin', an arrangement by him. It was amazing. And my kids just, they enjoyed it, and that was it was a spiritual, like we're in the middle of a cornfield in Illinois, and otherwise those kids would never ever see that or experience that. And so a lot of the time I pick stuff just based on, just because everyone else has done it. Like, why would I change this if it's not broken? Up at the high school, I think we all know high school brings out jobs, boyfriends, girlfriends, familial obligations. I've got a license now, so I'm going to drive to the Quad Cities instead of, these afternoon commitments. There's just lots of different things, and those kids go through a lot. And so I try to keep that in mind when I'm listening to the music, and I'm like, if I find something that I find intriguing, or it stops me, I file it away, and I actually bring it to the school, and I let the kids listen to it, and I just watch their body language. I just see how they lean into it, or if they whisper about it, they stop talking and actually tune in. Last year's arrangements, I would guess that's kind of more where you're basing this off of from last year at Org, because you hosted.
Right.
That was one night at 2:30 in the morning, and I couldn't sleep, and I was just on a roll, and one thing led to the other, and I found a really good foreign language piece. I did Halo Rotan. It's just a super percussive dance piece, and I played it once for the kids, like, we're doing this, Mr. Whan. I said, okay, and I purchased it right then and there. Like, that moment, I didn't even, I got it on my phone.
I want to stop you for a second.
Because he's boring?
I think this is awesome, but I have.
Well, Lisa hasn't
I
said
have
anything yet,
I have a generational question here. That's awesome, and I may do that at some point. Hey, here are 4 or 5 songs that I've listened to. Which of these do you like? And get their feedback. I have never said, hey kids, do you want to do this piece? I've always just given them the piece and say, this is an awesome piece. you should do this. We're going to do this, and by the time we're done, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than everybody on the same page.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't happen all the time.
No.
But once you get something that you like it, they like it, there's nothing better.
I think I find that a lot quicker though when I include them at least a little bit.
Sure.
It's not every piece, right? Like my chamber choir, they don't get to pick any of that. Like I'm giving them music that's going to push them and that I enjoy
Right.
because like Rusty said, like I want to enjoy myself too. And
Yeah.
so most of the music that I pick and program, it's just because I am not going to get sick of it. I'm not going to get concert ears. Like I'm going to enjoy it the entire time, and I can actually still teach it by the end of the run of it. Because there's not enough time ever. But you can rehearse a song too many times.
There's nothing worse than like preparing something and you get halfway through it and you're like, I'm not into this, but I'm into it too far to go back.
Right.
And we have to do this. And so you have to, like, your acting face has to, okay, come on, guys.
We
let's
did
go.
do an episode about like our favorite pieces and stuff. We should definitely have him back on.
Right.
So we can talk about our favorite pieces again.
Will you
Yeah.
sing every single one of them again?
Absolutely. And I will edit it
Oh, I have
like
to
I did
listen to
last
that.
time. And make sure I include, so like last time we did it, I don't know if you heard it, but like last time we did it,
Raise
every
your
time we
hand.
mentioned a piece,
Raise your hand if
I
you
put a
wanna
snippet
talk.
of it
Oh,
in
sure.
the episode. So like, so the audience can hear a little bit of it too. But anyway, but yeah, I feel like it's almost like traditionally that's how it is. It's like I know what you need, I know what's good for you, I know what composers are good for you, and here it is. It's kind of like that, a little bit of kind of what I said earlier about like feeding your vegetables a little. Like I know this is good for you, therefore you have it. But there also is now, I feel like, some newer composers that are trying some different things that are giving you those vegetables that, unless you sometimes go to these reading sessions or whatever and you can hear it, you don't recognize that like there are other people that are giving what you like and what the kids would like and what they need all at the same time.
I don't think every piece has to be programmatic though. Like if I like
No.
this song
Oh, yeah,
and I can
no.
teach it and I can tell them why it's good for them, even if it's not necessarily the most like stable choir piece for this, like the classroom setting. Like I did one piece that was absolutely out there, like completely unesthetic to the ear, like as far as theory goes. When the Earth Stands Still, it was a contemporary a cappella piece, but my kids loved it, and there was such heavy text that we were able to get into like the actual like meaning behind it, and like sometimes that outweighs like the technicality of a lot of things too.
Well, it's like, and it's also like the question of what is your opinion on, like, you don't have to answer this, but like, what is your opinion on like theme concerts? It's like, oh, I want to do
have their
a
place.
X theme.
Yeah.
And, is it like, oh, is it good? It's like, it might be.
You do theme concerts, don't you?
Well, for his theory
Well,
concert,
for my theory concerts, I
Yeah.
do. That's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
different
for theory
thing.
you do.
or for like a
Different
show for
situation.
like
But not for a concert.
Yeah.
Right, see, like, well, there's some programs that it's like every year for a certain, maybe spring concert, it's like they have one theme, and so it's like,
Sure.
I don't know, the color red or something.
Yeah,
That
that's
also
fine.
puts a
And that's
box of what
sometimes-
songs
and that's
you do.
sometimes-
I don't wanna
I
do
can't
that,
imagine
right?
having
Just
And
like
that's so,
get the spectrum.
right, exactly. That really shrinks you down. I think personally, I mean, I don't really like the themes. Like, if the theme is a genre, that at least gives you some room.
Man, Kevin and I were
Concert
talking
Sometimes,
last night.
sometimes people give you like
The spectrum of like when you get too fine-tuned of like what exactly you're wanting to do. Like we were talking about jazz choir last night because my chamber group is entering as that, and the music for jazz choir is either like elementary level or collegiate. Like there's not really a large amount of repertoire
There's not
out
that
there.
middle ground out there.
And
very
it's
well.
just because a lot of people aren't brave enough to do it. There's like they're not writing for it because there's not clientele to do it.
Yeah, this is the only third or fourth year that
Exactly.
I'm taking jazz pieces to contest, and I enjoy it. The kids love it because, and you guys know our program,
when they can do it.
my program well enough. Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty straight, rigid. The old war horses, the standard repertoire. I'll get a little out there from time to time, but as far as jazz and pop music, I'm learning to enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm learning to enjoy.
Have you picked your stuff out yet? You haven't.
I picked a couple things out.
Did ya?
They're looking at right now. Hopefully, I told them the next 4 days until we get back, they're going to be taking stuff home for me. I've given them 7 days. Well, I haven't given them. The weather's given them 7 days to work on stuff. Just take 30 minutes out of these next 4 days to look at the pieces that I've given you. And I had them in class yesterday. I said mark off either two letters like B and C or 16 measures. The hardest parts, have that down. I'm going to have every section play on Monday. and they went through and they told me which ones they're going to do. So we'll see how that goes. I'm a little nervous, but
We'll be all right.
we'll see. They'll do okay.
So, Crispin, you do the grade school thing,
Yes.
general music, and then 7th and 8th grade band.
Yes.
And is at Mercer County 7th and 8th grade band combined?
No.
You have a
We
7th grade band
7th grade and 8th grade.
and an 8th grade band.
We have
Do
30.
not tell him that.
30 in the 7th and 40 in the 8th.
It used to be all together, and then it got too big, and then we went. Did you have it when it was brass?
I had 103 kids my first year in my first hour class of 7th and 8th grade kids.
Wow. Good morning.
You're welcome.
Hello, America! This is my first day of teaching, and I,
We went brass and woodwind, brass percussion
I
and
split
woodwind.
it
So we split it like that once.
to alleviate
hard.
scheduling issues because we couldn't have 100 kids in there because every teacher's prep became first hour.
First hour, yeah. Well,
And
that's
so-
the way it is at Monmouth for junior high.
Well,
every teacher's prep is 9th hour.
Me and Donna Coulter, our secretary, God love her, sat down and we would like just rework the whole schedule to figure out what would work best because we looked at 7th and 8th grade initially, but the numbers.
Was that the first shout out?
Oh, shout out to Donna.
That's the first name we dropped.
But she and I figured out that it worked out pretty well at the time for instrumentation wise, and so we did brass percussion and woodwinds. Did that for 2 years, and it was okay. Then COVID came.
Our numbers dropped a little bit.
Our numbers
which
dropped,
made-
and then it made more sense just to go 7th and 8th grade. But that's also because the 7th grade that was coming in didn't have a true 6th grade, and so we had to do beginning band with 2 different groups basically
So
for
this
1
is
year.
new. This is.
So that we're back.
Oh, okay.
This is our first full
Yeah.
3 year, like with everyone having a real start.
And I'm sure Crispin can talk to the fact that that 7th grade group and the 8th grade group are very different.
There's a very big split between the two.
Yeah.
Personality-wise and preparedness, it's very, very obvious.
And that's not anybody's, like sometimes it's just like that. You know, I taught them both the same.
Yeah.
You know, I yelled at them the same amount. And
You put a check every time on your office
so it's
wall.
like, sometimes it's a mixed bag, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Try to get some good stuff out.
And there's great kids in both groups, absolutely. So
Yeah.
and there's really talented, promising kids in both groups. It's amazing.
Somebody told me that you had a really good first time out grade school Christmas concert.
Oh yeah, the Christmas concert.
Rusty, you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Thought
was
I'd
good.
get him. I thought I'd get him.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was
Yeah,
really good.
so it was nice. It's good the first time. Did the 7th grade band first, and then we did. What did we do? We did a nice Randall Standridge piece. What was it?
Shout out.
Trombones on the house top?
No, that was spoiling it.
Santa
You're
the
spoiling it.
Barbarian.
Now they know what the 8th grade did. Great job.
Santa the Barbarian.
It was a mixture of Ode to Joy and a Joyous Christmas. That's what it is. Joyous Christmas. That was a really good piece. And then we did pop songs. They really like pop songs, so we did Rolling in the Deep. Yes, Rolling in the Deep. And they really liked that song. They did a great job. And then we did Trombones on the Housetop, which was a great piece. And then we did a Taylor Swift piece, medley. And that's
Rusty.
yes.
We got to talk.
Now,
I don't tell him what to do.
It's my first. That was not in there. It was my first concert, and I really want to make an impression. I want the kids to enjoy it. Like we talked about, the biggest thing we want out of it is them to enjoy it and keep something with them that they can do the rest of their life.
You know how you start traditions? It just something takes off, whatever it is. He's got to have a Taylor Swift song at every Christmas concert.
Yeah, pretty much. And anyway, the kids really enjoyed it. They didn't show that they enjoyed it, but I knew that deep down they enjoyed it. You know, their 8th graders are like, oh, I'm too good for this.
Junior high kids are so tough to read.
They are.
You're not too good.
But they
For
like
Swiftie.
that. And then we combined bands and did White Christmas. I thought they did a really, really good job with that. I was happy with that.
Yeah.
And then they start over and they didn't practice all year, all Christmas break, and they come back and
You sound shocked by that.
it was a real rude
The rest of
awakening.
your kids practice all during break?
No. We give the 6th graders a deal, and then because they need a break.
Oh, you do 6th grade, then he does 7th
Right.
and 8th
I do
grade.
6th
Yeah.
grade, and then he does 7th grade.
Do you enjoy the beginners?
You know, I do because they're very excited
It's
about
so
it.
fun.
It is fun. The progression through 7th and 8th grade is something I would not want to teach myself. Yeah, because they're a different beast, man. And then high school's way different. I don't know. I mean, they're all different. The sixth graders are fun. I'm goofy enough to make it work. You know, so it's a different way that we have it, because normal schools would go a 6th through 8 director and then a high school director.
Right.
And just I went to high school here, I went to grade school here, and that's the way we did it then. You know, I had 6th grade, starting in 6th grade as everybody else.
Not to be what?
I would love to not be everything.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
It is mental whiplash to go from from the start of my day, my best group, like my audition group is my first thing, my 2 audition groups, and then I go by age all the way down.
That's
so it's not anything that they're doing wrong. It's just like literacy wise, like I'm just slowly going down. I got 5, 6, 7, 8 part. 4 part, 3 part.
On Wednesdays, I stay at the middle school, and I just listen to the choirs as he gets back, and he's just exhausted by the end of the day. He's like, oh my gosh.
Patience is gone. I looked at Crispin the other day, and I was like, man, that break wasn't long enough. I lied.
3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever we got off. Yeah. So, Lisa,
Yes, Mr. Perry.
you haven't said much of anything. We're gonna get yelled at.
I mean, granted, we're featuring the Mercer County.
We are.
But,
And there's only been one shout out. The other podcasts I've listened to, she has like 12 to 15 shout
Because
outs.
she knows a lot of people.
Yeah, because
This is a good
And
example
they're
of how many
all,
people
they're
she
all
knows.
friends that are not music people.
Right.
well, what do you want me to say?
I don't know.
What's your favorite qualities about your fiance?
Oh,
You're setting yourself up.
Favorite qualities about your fiance?
fiance.
It's a short list. I mean, you're not going to talk much.
His humility, his
Sense of humor.
yes.
People
sense-
think he's hilarious. I hear.
That's what some people say.
I hear.
That's my sources say.
For sure. I'm honestly really excited to have him at IMEC because this is his first year teaching. I don't know if that was clear. So I've been coming here for a lot of years and like talking to him at night, like, oh, this is what I did today, and like now he's here experiencing even with me. So that's been fun.
Well, Kevin didn't wake up on time, so I had to take care of the kids. And then
I was the
Kevin said,
first
"Do
one
this,"
down
and then-
here to take care of the mom and kids. They were just sitting there. I'm like, do you guys have a supervisor?
Supervisor.
We literally have our department head here with us. And he's not even.
I think it's interesting to get us together because we're close, like distance-wise,
Yeah, we're neighboring school districts.
but every district has their own culture of what they do or what's important to them, and there's nothing right or wrong, you know. But like, we're different from you guys, but both the end result is fine, you know. And then you go someplace else, and it's completely different.
The end result always seems to be the same, but how people go about it based on their. I mean, like, you know, because like it's so different because when I went to the school, high school in the suburbs, so like, again, end result, like we all want to get better, we all want to play different music, but like organizational, we did organizational type things, but we didn't do IHSA. We did some other festival, right? In front of judges and everything. We would put in for Allstate, we'd go play for Allstate or whatever, right? And then so an ensemble was like, yeah, if you want to do it, let me know, I'll sign you up. That was it. I did it 1 year. So, you know, but when I came out here, it was like, so ensemble is really important. And it's amazing how important it is, because I've realized in the years teaching in this area of like, oh my gosh, kids get so much better in such a short amount of time. And I think it's not just ability technically, but it's like confidence in the instrument. Like I am playing by myself, air quotes, literally, or you know, in even a small group, and I'm now forced to kind of help make sure that now that the ensemble is smaller, I'm forced to like beef up my abilities to do so. And so, but yeah, I think it's really cool that like you were saying, you know, different schools, even though how close we are relatively, we still do things differently, but how we go about it is all for the benefit of our students, because we know our students best.
Well, look at the sweepstakes points at the end. I mean, 3 or 4 of the top 10 schools are in our little corner of the
45
state
square miles.
for our
Yeah.
Class B schools. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're
I
not
mean-
going to cheat like you guys to win, but we're up there a little bit.
Mr. Ruggles.
Oh,
You know that happened the first year, right?
what did you fudge some numbers or something?
No. You don't know this? So the first year of the
Don't name drop. Don't shout out here.
So no shout
of the
out.
vocal band and
Right.
orchestra
Separation. of-
solo and ensemble state championship stuff. The first year, we were probably at Rock Ridge because I know when we left, we were winning by 30, 40 points. And I'm on cloud 9. Like, okay, the first time this is a deal, we made it. And I texted Jeremy Adolphson
Shout out.
Shout out.
and said, hey, we did it. Coming home with a state championship plaque. He called me like an hour later. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, you lost. I'm like, what? He goes, you got second. I said, there's no way. He said, this other school
Thank you.
passed you. I'm like, shut up. So we ended up in second. Fast forward a month and a half, we're on the senior trip in Chicago. Jeremy Adolphson
Shout out.
calls me and says, hey, that school that beat you just got turned into the IHSA for cheating at solo and ensemble.
Jeez.
And
How do I have time to do that?
so here was their deal. Sam Whan, great singer, right? And at the time, you could only take one solo. So Sam Whan, vocal solo. All right? Rusty Ruggles, vocal solo. But Sam would sing for Rusty.
Oh, so they didn't know.
Different rooms. Yep. Interesting. So they were having kids do 2 and 3 solos that were their top kids to get all of those. And it was one of the parents that was like, oh, I didn't know my son Rusty had a solo. I'm going to walk in and watch Rusty sing.
That's not Rusty.
That's Sam.
What a pleasant surprise.
They look a
Take off
lot
the
like.
mustache. It's me. It's been me the whole time.
So the IHSA then called, we got second, Rock Ridge got third. I don't remember who got fourth, but they just bumped everybody up.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so cheating at solo and ensemble has happened before.
Solo and ensemble.
I hope that
first
teacher
one.
feels bad.
Right, so on something.
Game, yeah.
I
The
just,
first time they separated.
I knew the guy.
Okay.
I had taken administrative classes with him at Western.
Shout out.
Go next.
Go next.
Let's go next.
Purple and gold.
I thought you were shouting out to the guy who cheated. I was like,
No.
no.
WIU.
Shout out WIU for clarification.
He got fired
Oh, yeah.
immediately. Like it wasn't. Hey, we'll wait till the end of the year. Done. So yeah. That's interesting. We don't cheat at solo and ensemble.
I think it's cool. You put a lot of effort into it. I know it's a lot of work. We know that we could beat you at any time because we have the numbers. We just choose not to do that. And you guys enjoy your wins, enjoy your plaques.
I say every year. Is it this year?
Yeah.
No,
It'll
not
be his
yet.
last year.
Well, when you ask the kids, like honestly,
My choir kids.
all of you
win.
kids we're going to have to do 5 things a piece. You know, are you ready for that? And they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. I mean, I don't.
My chamber kids ask me every year, is it the year? Can we do it? And I'm like, no.
No.
For me, all of that stuff, the sweepstakes and the state, all of that stuff is wonderful. It is great, and the kids really enjoy it. Hell, I enjoy it, right?
Do it because of the performance factors, that what they get out of it.
It's 5 weeks of individual
Yes.
training that makes them better, and if they can have this plaque or trophy or T-shirt or whatever, while they're getting better over 5 weeks, then I don't see the problem.
My junior high kids have to do it at least once.
And I would love for Mercer County to give it a shot, especially since Kewanee is now in Class A. We don't have.
Are
to,
they really?
Yeah, we don't have to compete. And Kewanee, Kewanee should win Class A going away.
Well, the answer is we're not going to do that.
I know.
So
'Cause
it
you
would be
can't.
fun,
Because you can't.
but we gotta just focus on some different things musically, you know. Is that a good politically correct answer?
Having lives.
Really, for us, it's hard to find piano players, and for all that. I know that people do a lot of like unaccompanied duets and they do all that.
Yeah, we've said it a million times. We're very, very blessed.
Yes, you do
to have Joy Boostrom and Joan Blitt,
Shout out!
retired teachers
Jeez.
from
Lisa's going to get us thrown out of
Spike on
here.
that was amazing.
from Monmouth Roseville, and then we get Carolyn Keller,
Yeah.
Shout out!
Paula Helly.
Shout out.
This year we actually have Dr. Tom Clark from Monmouth College
Shout out!
coming out to help us. So it's an undertaking, but to me that stuff is great and it's wonderful, but it's the 5 weeks of getting better, because the best day in choir is 2 days after solo and ensemble, because they're all better.
And there again, it's like there's your culture difference, and the PR that we get from pep band, you might get from the sweepstakes stuff. I mean, we do
for
plenty
sure.
of radio interviews for pep band stuff. You do have the radio station at the solo ensemble contest, which is unheard of, which is really
I've
cool.
never heard of that before.
I think
Until
it's
I got
really
here,
cool.
they're like, what?
Yeah, they did not prepare me for how much I would talk on the radio at college.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Seems
I missed
like-
that session of
Yeah.
at Music Ed 101.
All the
And I
time.
think at the end of the day, Rusty, you and I can disagree on the importance of solo ensemble, or the emphasis. I think that's probably a better word. But at the end of the day, your guys' groups and our groups are damn good groups.
Yeah.
We do it a different way to get there.
Yeah.
What?
What?
You
I
say Jeep?
said damn.
Oh, you said it again.
I thought you saw a Jeep drive by, so you said Jeep.
What's buggy?
So I think it's great to get that different perspective, and
Yeah.
I think we should definitely work on getting other people, because we talked to Curtis
Shout out!
a lot about, he's got a lot of similar philosophies to me, except in the fall. We couldn't be further apart in the fall.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year, his kids are very good and very successful. I mean, there's so many ways to do it, like you said earlier. And
There's a they compete in marching band. Their show choir is a big focus for them. That's not us, so they're different. Again, different. So, and there's not a right or wrong answer.
I think another thing, so if you're a teacher out there that does solo ensemble, here's a question for you. What is the state of your solo ensemble repertoire? Because I feel like if you go into a school that's inherited years and years and years and years and years and years of solo work, you got stuff falling apart. And you got stuff that's really old.
Really hard.
Really freaking hard.
I just
what was
spent
that one thing you
$400
put
on
up?
replacement books.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember
Covers
Lisa,
falling out, pages falling out.
yeah, Lisa and I were looking through, and it was like, oh, it's like young trombonist, and it's like 16 notes.
Yeah.
And cut time. What?
Yes.
Like how does in what age? And what was happening in band? And then it's like a junior high
Before
kid
cell
doing-
phones were invented.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I mean, true.
On that line, have you found that everything is kind of dumbed down over your career? Like, what was a level 5 is...
Yeah, probably a little bit.
You know what I mean? Like, we're
Yeah.
not...
I mean, look, 3 years ago we were all begging for flex arrangements.
All begging for what?
Flex arrangements.
Oh, yeah.
So they
I mean,
pushed
I
out
think
a
they're
bunch.
still. It's funny. I think they're still important for solo ensemble.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a good choir. Like you're putting either the mixed brass, the mixed woodwind, because depending on how the composer writes it too. Like a part 1, it could be easily a trumpet, and then all the way down to trombone baritone. Are you yawning?
Sam just did too.
I mean, it's been a long day. It was a long night. Sam had a meeting at
It's only like
2:30.
2:30.
I had a meeting that ran really late.
Yeah, it did. It started.
I was
it
at that
started,
same meeting you
Were
were
you?
at.
And
I
actually,
think so.
Somebody wouldn't shut up and it wouldn't stop.
Well, and I heard the meeting had to change locations, right?
It did.
It was Steve.
Like one.
He was running the meeting.
Shout out.
Steve did not run
Shout out to Steve.
Steve did not run an effective meeting last night, for sure. For sure. What?
Well, no, I was just saying, like,
Uh-oh.
yeah, you're calling out Steve. You're calling out. You're doing a
Call
not a
out.
shout out. Not a shout out. It's a call out.
Hey, Kevin,
Yes, sir.
to answer your question, because you cut me off earlier,
Yeah, not yeah.
it is generational, but only so much as you involve yourself in, founded pedagogies. like I tend to like flock towards like different angles of like teaching like all the time. Like I'm not into one thing over the other. Like a lot of teachers are, Kadai or Dalcroze, or like they're doing a little bit of this and that. Like I would say I'm happily nowhere. Like as far as like any one thing. But I'm also doing the same music that you're doing because other people are doing it.
Right.
I don't know. It just depends.
Yeah, I thought the music that you picked last year was awesome. I'm like, I love this. This is so cool.
And I think
but it's stuff I don't do.
Yeah.
And part of it is, you did something Bumblebee-ish.
Bumblebee. Yep.
I think we're going to do some Bumblebee.
Yeah, by eating Roth.
That's one of the subcategories on the side.
We did Bumblebee last year. 2 years ago.
Because I have to learn everything audibly. That
song was hard to learn audibly.
Yes.
Because it was just
I
nothing
listened
but
to it
dissonant
and I'm like,
and syncopated.
But it was so good. But like that's not something I would feel comfortable teaching because I think I do a terrible job.
It took me a year and a half. I gave that to them the year before, and then it was just not ready. Like they couldn't do it, and so we put it away, and they asked me to get it back out, and I said okay. So
Bumblebee-ish. It's a word.
Bumblebee tuna.
That song was
Bumblebee
weird.
tuna?
It was Bumble Space
Bumblebee
Bee.
tuna.
Oh,
It bothered me.
interesting.
It
Yeah,
bothered
don't like
me.
that.
What did you think?
Think what?
It was all the way through.
Bumblebee-ish.
It's like the flight of the bumblebee, kind of.
Did I hear that? I don't think I heard that.
No, because you were running contests that day.
Yeah.
Because I was at a track meet.
Yeah,
Mercer
that's
County
what it
was the only choir that went on Friday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, we live to serve.
We enjoy your
You
service.
enjoy not
We
hosting
like being served.
for your entire life.
Well, it's like when we do organizational, like we have double headers of athletic events on Saturdays. So like now we're going to Kiwani, and I texted, their director right away. I'm like, we can't go Friday.
Shout out Alex.
Yeah, that's right.
Alex.
And
You hear that, Alex?
it's just one of those things that we want to keep going
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people that don't go to either.
Yeah.
And whether they don't have the numbers or they don't see
So
the
your AD then clears Friday.
yes.
Yeah,
They always
see,
say we'll give you one day.
Jeremy does the same thing. He's like, "What day are you guys going to go?"
Yeah.
I said, "What works best? What works best for us with all the things that we take is Saturday."
Yeah.
Just so we can spread that out. I mean, and you guys are in the same boat. You take 6, 7, 8 events to organizational, and it's a long day.
It is.
But it's super fun, and the fact that like Sam's choir, Curtis's choir, our choir, we don't care if we just do a concert.
No.
We don't need the 20-minute warm-up for every single group,
Right.
which there are schools that demand that. And it's kind of a pain.
I mean, usually for us, it's warm-up show,
Yeah,
warm-up show.
and the band needs that.
It's just a circle.
The band needs that. Whether what you do with that warm-up time, especially like with your jazz band, I assume most of your jazz band kids are varsity band kids.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got to give their lips a little break, but so I understand the importance of that with the bands and not going straight through. But it's really nice when you can schedule Mercer County, and then on Saturday, you guys weren't there, but we went Monmouth, Rockridge, Monmouth band in the morning. The afternoon was Rockridge choirs, Monmouth choirs.
Yeah. And that works great. It's just the only bad part about it is that I wish we had time to see other people play.
Yeah.
Because I wish our students could see your students sing or play, because I think that's important too.
Yeah, absolutely,
Well,
for
and
sure.
like to hear a piece, like, I want to do that next year.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you guys are lucky enough to when you run it, like you did that to me the other day, or the one year you were like, what was that march?
Oh yeah.
I forget which one it was. You're like, that was really
Well,
fun.
and then your jazz band did that something arrangement. That was
Yeah.
Cool. That was so cool.
Yeah. And now I'm to a point where I'm going to retire soon. Shout out me.
Shout out.
Super retirement shout out.
Yeah. And so I know that all of these pieces that I've done over the years, like I have to do them this year or next year, the higher difficulty ones.
Because I'm not doing anything that they're doing.
No. And you want to do them one more time.
Yeah.
You really like something and you think it's good for kids.
Final act.
This is your shot. you know.
And it's a picture of me.
Yeah.
Well, I think before we close out the episode, we should go around and just say, like, what's our favorite thing about IMEC. And, you know, yeah, keep it simple.
And legal.
I'll go first. I love most about IMEC is the networking and reconnecting too. Like, last year I didn't know Sam and Rusty, and since then I've gotten to know them and hung out with them multiple times. So, like, that was really cool to meet them for the first time. Especially where we at.
Now you play golf with them.
And now I play golf with them. I'm podcasting with them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Besties.
Oh my gosh, besties. Kevin, what's your favorite?
Oh, let's go that way.
Okay,
We're going counterclockwise.
Okay.
Kyle look alike. Doesn't that guy look like Kyle?
Shout out.
He does.
Shout out to that guy.
Shout out the guy who looks like Kyle.
We're looking out the window at you.
I think his name's David.
Do you look at his name tag?
Shout out David.
Shout out David, who looks like Kyle outside.
If you ever need a private investigator, just talk to Lisa.
Something I'm thankful for IMEC is, not that it's like an everyday occurrence, but I know a lot of us have that feeling of kind of being on an island, you know, teaching, especially in the area that we do. It's just like we never really have crossing paths with each other as coworkers. Like, we see each other in the hall and say, hey, and that's about it. But a couple days to actually come down, network, you know, hang out with some colleagues and friends that you haven't seen more than a couple of times, and I don't know, just kind of be able to hang out and actually understand what everyone else is going through. It's just a nice experience.
I've been coming down here a long time, and then I took a break. I didn't come down for like 10 years probably, just because I had pep band games and whatever. I had things. I had a kid that was in school, so I was going to his events. And when I started coming back, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't keep going. Because there are people I only see them once a year, right? Because I'm kind of a recluse. I don't get out that much, and outside of Aledo. So it's nice to see people and catch up and all that stuff. Sure, there's music stuff involved. I love to see kids who are really good players and make me feel like a piece of garbage. Because when that high school junior gets up at the jazz concert and plays a solo, I'm like, oh my God, I have to go home and practice because I'm terrible.
That's awesome.
You know, which good for them. You know, there's a lot of great kids down there.
Well, I'm just getting my feet wet, as you will. I've been here for, like 8 hours, like while the thing's been going on. It's a great time. The one session that we've been to is this mariachi. Was it like a hands-on mariachi kind of thing? It was a lot of fun. I hadn't played trumpet in quite some time. My chops are not there, but I was really proud of my ability to like play in the key of A on trumpet, so I was happy with that. And but it was a really fun experience with the trumpets and violins and guitars and singing. It was a good time, and if that's just like, you know, the first thing and everything else is like that, it's gonna be such a fun time.
Mine is just like Artie said, just seeing all the people. I've been so lucky to have a really awesome musical bubble in the Illinois Valley, my LaSalle Peru musician people, the Macomb WRU people, and now Monmouth and the surrounding areas. Just it feels like all my worlds collide here, and it just really fills my cup. Already today I've seen my first ever band director, my first 2 private lesson teachers, my high school band director, and it's only day 1. So just that's absolutely my favorite part, because I love being able to connect with them.
I'm going to go a little different. This year especially. I am so nervous and so excited.
I guess there's a reason.
Yeah.
Not to sound overly cheesy or whatever, but the absolute honor of getting to bring a group down here and perform. I am so excited and ready for Saturday. The kids, I got messages today saying rehearsal went great. We've worked on a few things that you wanted us to. So hopefully tomorrow they have a good rehearsal, but I am so excited, and I feel very honored and honestly very humbled in the fact that the IMEA chose us to be one of the choirs to come down here and be able to perform, and hopefully a lot of people show up and get to see what honestly, like, I know this is going to sound corny, but like a little bit of the weight that I feel is that we're representing Monmouth Roseville, but we're representing Mercer County, Sherrard, Rockridge, Orion. We're representing all of these smaller schools that don't necessarily get the opportunity to do this. And so I'm hoping we put together a really good performance that everybody will be proud of, and I can't wait for those kids to be able to experience that on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna be shocked how people are in that room.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's not like my parents." You know, it's gonna be like a whole bunch of people they don't know, but that's the beauty of it. And I seriously think that like the repertoire you have chosen, people are gonna start buying that stuff because they're like, "Oh my gosh, I've never heard that piece before," or like, "Oh, I always wanted to do that piece and now I've heard it." Like, these students can do it. Therefore,
Who are we shouting out outside?
Ashlyn Carnes, shout out.
Ashlyn Carr. Oh
And
yeah,
that guy who
grad.
doesn't know me, who just waved at me.
Yes, he
so I was
did.
pointing at him.
You definitely were for sure
I
pointing at him.
appreciate it.
Did she say she was flirting with the guy outside the window?
Hi, Ashlyn. You're on the podcast right now.
I feel like I'm on Today's Show or something.
The guy with a sign. Like, you know, oh, throw that out, yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you for having us.
sitting
It's nice to
down
be
and
here.
doing this. And tonight we're going to be at what time? We're going at 6:30. We're going to be at the corner of the Kidder Music.
Yeah. So
Music
really,
in the making. People want to hang out. We're going to have some cards to
Merch.
hang out.
Yeah,
We're going to have our merch on.
Yep. And then
gonna be awesome.
Then also for Saturday though, we are live streaming on
Yeah.
our Facebook page. So it's the
On the Monmouth Roseville Music
The
Department.
Monmouth Roseville Music Department, we are posting our performance. I'm also going to do a podcast version as well, so if you're like, I'd rather listen to it, in this case I can't watch it, not a big deal, but I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a great performance, and I think our kids are going to just walk away with like, holy cow, that's awesome.
That'd be great.
And I think the even better part is that is they will not recognize how top tier they are because they are here until later. And that's I think it's the biggest impact is like, you know, is when you recognize like, oh my gosh, this is actually a really big
Your guys'
deal.
group gets to take home something from All-State that not a lot of kids get to experience.
Right.
Like they not only are they get to say that they are All-State, you know, at least
Yeah.
in their own right. Like, but they did that with their friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, like that's the cool part.
It-
Yeah,
That's
and
gonna be a
they've
memory.
worked really hard. I mean, we've come in over Christmas
Yeah, you
break.
guys earned it.
And I've noticed a camaraderie because we're very diverse, very eclectic. I mean, we have, and you guys do too, because we're small schools. Like we have the jocks, we have, you know, racially diverse. I mean, it's just a melting pot of kids. But to see all of those kids just coming together and yesterday during rehearsal, you saw the looks on their faces like, okay, this is starting to come together. This is starting to be really, really good. So I just, no matter what anybody says, I'm still going to be nervous. My wife says it all the time. Oh, they always pull it off. They always do fine until they don't. And you guys all know that until they don't.
Nerves are good. They keep you humble.
That's right. That's right. For sure at All-State. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. So remember, we are always open for questions or topics you guys want to talk about. Music in the Making podcast at gmail.com. We always, and even Facebook if you want to message us on there or write on the wall or whatever it is. Questions and stuff. We our mission to do this podcast isn't just to have fun, obviously, but it's also to like provide any assistance or like advice that we can, opinions that we can. And Kevin's got a lot, so definitely. But we want to keep helping out. We'd appreciate obviously you follow us on all the socials and on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube now. Share with your friends. Share with another music educator or a person who just likes music. And if they like it, make sure they share it. And follow and all that so we can get our views up. I'm going to say it right now, this is the year we get 200 followers. 200.
I'll be fine with that.
I say 2024 is our 200 follower year. And if we
If
do
you
that...
can do that every year, then I can retire during the Music in the Making podcast. That's my retirement gig.
By that point, we've already
I just
had
want
like...
the royalty checks. I'll pop on and do guest appearances every now
By
and then.
that point, we'd have already branched out. Our empire would have grown to like 4 or 5 more podcasts, like the Mercer County Minute or something like that, or like with Rusty in from his cabana, like elsewhere.
Hey, we've got Rusty live and on location in Georgia.
How's the weather out there?
He's at Torrey Pines.
Golfing. I'm on the back nine right now. So anyway, yes, Lisa, she raised her hand.
I just want to make sure we all know what number episode this is, because I feel like it got talked over when we talked about it earlier.
It did get talked over. Lisa, would you like to remind us what number
This
we're
is
on?
episode 22.
That's when we get copy struck. All right, here we go. So, all right, thanks so much, everyone. Thank you, Mercer County.
Yeah.
All together. Girl,
Bye.
Thanks, guys.